And so maybe just help us to frame, how should we think about that kind of evidence? Why is it that that can be marshaled to support a case for Christian belief, even though we wouldn't consider that to be scripture? And maybe to follow on that, why aren't the Dead Sea Scrolls scripture? That's a whole separate issue, but maybe address this issue of how should we think about the use of this extra biblical material?
Well, I'm happy to speak to that. It's a good question. Everything we do that relates to biblical studies, exegesis and so on, is, at least it should be, it's informed by its context. Sometimes I have the odd colleague that might dispute that, but then what I say is, well, how do you know what that Greek word means? Or how do you know what that Hebrew word means? He says, well, I'd look it up in a lexicon. And how do you think the definitions were affixed to those words in that lexicon? Now, anybody who starts arguing with me on a point like that is pretty naive, because in the lexicon, these words are gathered up by doing comparative work. So when you look up a Greek word that is used in the New Testament, it's defined by comparing dozens, if not hundreds, of other passages that might be in the Bible. A lot of them are not in the Bible. The inspiration, canonicity, authority of the text is not the issue at all. It is simply its meaning, understanding what that word actually means in a given context so that you can exegete the scriptural text, which is authoritative, accurately. Now, the same thing applies to concepts. And so what I was sharing with you earlier this evening are concepts. What was the concept about the Messiah or an eschatological Redeemer? Here are some concepts. They anticipated that he would do this, and this, and this. And what that does is it helps us understand, oh, I get it. When Jesus replies to the imprisoned John the Baptist a certain way, that's what it meant. Or when he preaches his sermon in the Nazareth synagogue and cites Isaiah 61 and says it's fulfilled, these are the ideas that begin to roll through the heads of people. That's vital in doing exegesis. It does not mean that the scrolls are canonical or ought to be in the Bible or that they're inspired. They are, you might say, part of the lexical material, the background information that helps us interpret canonical texts accurately. Now, you know who doesn't do that? The cults. They have a Bible and no context, and that's all you need to start a new cult or create a new heresy. It's context that prevents that from happening.